Hi, this is Todd Toback, and man, I was inspired to make this video for you because I get a lot of text and emails and Facebook messages, and just in a lot of online forums, people are talking about how competitive the market is, and so I really wanted to talk about that. And talk about some lessons on how to do deals in this market when it seems like direct mail is down or sellers aren't motivated. There's a ton of competition, and some really great lessons that I learned actually while I was in Florida for a week with my family, fishing with my 4 kids. And I would definitely say the market has gotten more competitive. But I frankly, I love that, right? Because you may do less deals, but you will do bigger deals. And so while I was teaching my kids fishing, it just reiterated and reinforced a lot of lessons that I've learned in business. And sometimes when you say something out loud to your kids or you're mentoring somebody, man, it really hits home. So I'm going to share them with you. I wrote these down on my computer. I actually took these notes on my phone while I was in Florida because I really wanted to share them in a video when I got back. And this all applies to doing deals and making money, or really any business venture for that matter. But one of the things that if you've been doing business for a while and you're not doing as much business right now, or you're getting in and you're struggling, is that the biggest fish, and sorry, the video cut out. The biggest fish come when you're about to give up. We were on the dock a couple of times, and we had our lines in the water, and I remember my dad packed up not once but twice on 2 separate occasions, and he said, "Hey, I'm done for the night." And as he was walking off the dock and the gate closed, boom, a giant snook hit our line, and it was the biggest fish of the day. And that happened twice, which were the 2 biggest fish of the week. And so while everybody gives up and said, "Oh, the market's too competitive," or "I can't do this," guess what? The biggest fish is about to hit your line. And that was true for us that day. But also I've seen it a ton of time in my business where all of a sudden I see a lot of people pack up, and all of a sudden, boom, we do $100,000 or $150,000 wholesale deal. The other thing I kept on telling my kids, and this is so true in business, is my favorite line of the week was, "Kids, you can't catch fish with your bait out of the water." And my kids they kept on taking their rod out, and their shrimp was out of the water, right? And so, boom, every time they kept it in and kept it in there for a prolonged period of time, that was the person who was catching my fish. As a matter of fact, my youngest son, Brogan, he refused to take his line out of the water, and he caught the most fish out of everybody. Okay, my oldest daughter, Sierra, was kind of inconsistent and kept taking her line out of the water and complaining that there was no fish. And what do you know? She caught the least fish. As a matter of fact, Brogan, I think, accounted for like 2/3 of our 80 fish that we caught over the week. The other thing is, man, in a competitive market, you've got to do more with less, okay? What does that mean? Well, you've got to get smarter about your marketing. You got to work the leads harder that you already have. You got to improve your systems, okay? You got to get out there, and sometimes you got to grind and make it happen, okay? One of the things that happened to us is that we were catching so many fish, right? And we're using these big, giant shrimp. I mean, they were like massive, I can't even do it with one hand, but they were big. And, no one wanted like the smaller shrimp or half a shrimp. Well, we were catching so many fish, a couple times we almost ran out of bait. And so when that happened, we got down to the last 3 or 4 shrimp. I actually had to cut them in thirds so that we could keep fishing, right? And so I took these smaller pieces of shrimp because we had to. We had another choice. We put it on the hook. And guess what? We were catching the same amount of fish with the smaller amount of shrimp. And that was because we had to. And so you got to know how to really do more with less. Now, another lesson that we learned was actually when we were at this aquarium conservation center, this big aquarium with a bunch of fish, and these fish were big. I mean, they were fat and they got fed every day. And the guy who was feeding them had a big long stick, and actually he moved the bait around, right? And I asked him, I said, "Hey, why do you move the food around instead of just throwing it in the tank?" He said, "Oh man," he goes, "if you'd throw this bait in the tank, right, without making the fish work for it," he says that they will get fat and lazy, and they get really sluggish, and they get unhealthy, and you've got to keep the fish hungry. And so one of the things that I took from that is, man, if you're in business and it was really, really easy before and you find yourself struggling now, maybe, just maybe, you've forgotten how to hunt. Do you remember that hunger that you had when you first got started, when you did your first deal, or maybe you're there right now? And so that hunger that you have is very, very good. You got to make sure that you keep that edge and always be the hunter. And the final thing that I learned for me was if you have a team or you're working by yourself, it's really, really good to be around other people, because as I was writing these lessons down and teaching my kids, I came back and I felt like I learned more than them during our week fishing. And so I hope this video inspired you. I know I haven't sent a video in a really long time. I've been busy with our team and our real estate business. Haven't been too much involved in education lately, but man, I just want to say go out there and crush it. I hope this helped you and your business. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you've not subscribed to our website, there's our map, the massive action plan. I'll show you how to get your wholesaling business to where it is, up to 6 or 7 figures. And I'll publish every now and then, but I was just inspired to get this out to you. So talk to you soon. Have a great day.